Hey all, I'm Rob Cairns. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief creator of Amazing Ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Today I want to dive into something and someone really important to me. 10 years ago, we lost my father due to pancreatic cancer, and I thought I'd do a podcast on my dad and the legacy that he left behind. So sit back, relax, grab a drink, and enjoy this podcast. Hey, Rob Cairns here. Today I wanted to talk about someone who is really important to me and frankly I miss very much, and that's my father. My dad, Bruce Lennox Cairns, passed away due to pancreatic cancer 10 years ago. Unfortunately, it's one of those diseases they normally catch late, often in stage 4, and at that point expectancy of life is a year to 3 years. You know, I miss my dad every day, and I think about him all the time, and I really do miss him. Some other notable people who have had pancreatic cancer include Steve Jobs, Patrick Swayze, and of course Canada's own Alex Trebek. And all of them had their battles with this awful disease. But really for this, I wanted to focus on some of the things about my dad. Those of you know I'm a big sports fan. And I think a lot of that came from my father and his brothers. They were all big sports fans. And, I've always been a fan of goaltenders in hockey. My favorite of all time, number 29, Ken Dryden. Then after him, there was Patrick Waugh, and after him, there was Carey Price. With some guys in between, but they don't really matter. But, my favorite goaltender was my father. My father played goal for the Lachute High School and always played goal. And, that's interesting to say the least. My love of sports collectible collecting comes from my dad. Many years ago, my father brought home for me from the Montreal Children's Sports Celebrity Dinner a program signed by Jean Beliveau. And that's kind of what started the craze. Now, interestingly enough, Jean Beliveau roomed with my favorite player of all time in his magical season in 1971, being Ken Dryden. How's that for a twist? Gets even better. The Jean Beliveau passed away on my father's birthday, after my dad had passed away. And Ken Dryden's birthday, it turns out, is Jill's and my wedding anniversary. How's that for food for thought? A lot of twists there, all because of my father. My dad was a really supportive man, very supportive of it, actually. He always supported his kids and his family no matter how right or how wrong they were. And, that was really important to us as kids growing up. We knew we could go to him. And even in my adult life, when I went through relationship problems and other problems in life, my dad was always there. And frankly, often in trouble. He would be the one who would tell people, and it didn't matter if it was my mom, or if it was my brothers, or if it was me, they were wrong. And I can remember times he would tell my mom that she was wrong, and she'd be furious with him for days, sometimes weeks. And that was just the way he was. He didn't believe in mixing it. He was fair. I actually think in a lot of ways he kept my mom on level keel for many times. My mom's still alive, 75. Love her very much. But my dad was the calming influence there. He was also the one who reached out to family and kept in touch with family more than anybody. I think I've picked up that skill and that trait quite a bit. I tend to be in touch with my family, so that's really important. And my dad was the ultimate family guy. I mean, there was no more people he's proud of than his 4 boys and his grandson. I can tell you that many, many times. And he showed his love unconditionally. There was never a catch, never a reason. And he always made sure people got to do what was important to them. For example, I can remember taking my mom off in 1975 leading up to New Year's Eve. By the way, knowing I was going to the famous what turned out to be the famous New Year's Eve Montreal Canadians and Central Red Army hockey game. And my dad saw it as being something different. So he negotiated with my mother to get me to go. Well, I did go to the game, and the rest of that is I got a chance to see history. But that was because my dad saw the value in things like that. My dad was the hockey dad who got up, or the scout leader. He was involved in Scouts and Cubs for many, many years. And going back to hockey, he often got up with me to make sure I was at practice at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning. It was probably the last thing that he needed to do after a hard work week, but he did it anyway because that was important. And he never missed practices, and he never missed games. And he also didn't mince point. I remember a game where I got 2 goals, and I said, geez, I had a good game. I got 2 goals. And he looked at me one day and said, you could have played better, though. You didn't play really well. You got lucky. And I probably had. And I probably needed to hear that, frankly. But that was my father. Honest, upfront, to the point. When I graduated high school, he was there. When I graduated college, he was there. With his mom, my grandmother Cairns, came up for it. And, he came from a family of multiple boys. Mac, Ian, Ron, and of course Clifford. And, I don't know how my grandparents didn't lose more hair sometimes with 5 of them. And then he went and had 4 more, and then had a grandson. It's interesting. There'd never been any ladies in our family directly until I married Joe. And then that all changed. But that's, funny. It was funny. 3 years ago, Joe and I got married in Niagara Falls on August 8th. And one of the things that I was thinking throughout the whole week and the whole ceremony was how much I wish my father had been there. He would have been proud. He would have been really proud. And I wish he had been there. No question in my mind. And we actually had a party. And we had a donation for drinks. And that money we donated to pancreatic research in honor of my father. And he wasn't there in person, but his spirit was there. And at my father's funeral, we had played the sign Because You Love Me, Celine Dion. It's a classic. And I decided that I needed to have it played at our party. And my mom danced with me and whispered into my ear, where we last played this. And I said, I know. Because I felt my dad in the room that whole night. And that was really important to me. When he got down in his last days, 10 years ago, he went into the hospital the day after Father's Day. And he really wasn't feeling well. And the problem with pancreatic cancer is when it starts to shift, it shifts very bad. And at the time, I was starting a business out on my own. And I made a decision to put that on hold. And for the last 2.5 to 3 weeks of my dad's life, I was at my dad's hospital bed every day, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. And often it took family, to kick me out of that room. But when I look back at it, I know when I went through problems in my life and health scares and everything else, it was my dad that was there for me. And I certainly felt like I need to be there for my dad. And the day he passed away, I'd actually gone to have lunch in the cafeteria with an old friend, because I had worked at Sunnybrook for many, many years. And I wasn't in the room when my dad passed. I knew when my mom called me the way and how she was crying that he had passed away. But the one thing I'll say is, always be grateful. Always be grateful for the love, for the time, and certainly for him being him and caring about me, my brothers, and most of all caring about my mom. He sure knew how to do a balancing act. He was a better magician than I ever would have been. But that was my father. I just wanted to share a little insights into him, and it makes me who I am and how much I love him. As always, Rob Cairns, founder, CEO, and chief creator of Amazing Ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. Jump on over to our website at stunningdigitalmarketing.com or email me, vip@stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Feel free to tweet at me at Rob Cairns. If you go on the website, in the footer of our website, it lists all the other social media platforms we're on. Feel free to look us up, follow us, connect with us on those platforms. If you want to learn more about digital marketing, go on over to stunningdigitalmarketing.com, scroll down to the bottom and sign up for a free marketing newsletter. We'd be glad to help you. And as always, this podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. I miss you and I love you. Keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and make your business succeed. Bye for now.